Nathan stood in front of the full-length mirror, adjusting his bout eye for the third time. His hands trembled slightly, not from nervousness, but from pure, unfiltered joy. In less than 2 hours, he would marry Kim, the woman who had walked into his life 3 years ago and changed everything. "Hey man, you look sharp." Marcus walked into the room, already dressed in his best man tuxedo. They had been friends since high school, brothers in everything but blood. Marcus clapped Nathan on the shoulder, his smile wide and familiar. "I can't believe this is really happening," Nathan said, turning to face his best friend. "Kim and me, married." Marcus's smile flickered for just a moment, so brief that Nathan almost missed it. "Yeah, man, it's crazy. You're really doing this." "We're really doing this," Nathan corrected, laughing. "You're standing right up there with me. Wouldn't have it any other way." The morning passed in a blur of photographs and greetings. Nathan's mother cried 3 separate times before 11 a.m. His father kept clearing his throat, fighting back his own emotions. The church was decorated with white roses and pale blue hydrangeas, Kim's favorite flowers. Everything was perfect. Everything was exactly as they had planned. Nathan checked his phone one more time before the ceremony. There was a message from Kim. "Sent 20 minutes ago. I love you. See you at the altar. I can't wait to be your wife." He smiled, his heart swelling so much it almost hurt. He typed back quickly, "I'm the luckiest man alive. I love you more than words can say." The ceremony was scheduled for 2 p.m. At 1:45, Nathan took his position at the altar. Marcus stood beside him, hands clasped in front of him, his expression unreadable. The church filled with guests, their excited chatter creating a warm buzz of anticipation. The music started, Nathan's breath caught in his throat. And then he saw her. Kim appeared at the end of the aisle, and Nathan forgot how to breathe. She was radiant in her white gown, her dark hair swept up, her eyes shining. She was a vision, an angel, the love of his life. As she walked toward him, escorted by her father, Nathan felt tears building in his eyes. This was it. This was the moment his life truly began. The ceremony flowed like a dream. They exchanged vows, their voices steady despite the emotion threatening to overflow. Nathan slipped the ring onto Kim's finger, his hands gentle, reverent. She did the same for him, her touch sending electricity through his entire body. "I now pronounce you husband and wife," the minister said, beaming. "You may kiss the bride." Nathan cupped Kim's face in his hands and kissed her softly, deeply, pouring 3 years of love into that single moment. The church erupted in applause. They were married. They were actually married. The reception was held at the Grand Harbor Hotel, overlooking the water. The ballroom sparkled with string lights and candles. Dinner was served, champagne flowed, and Nathan couldn't stop smiling. He held Kim's hand under the table, squeezing it periodically, still unable to believe she was his wife. "I need to use the restroom," Kim whispered during the main course. She kissed his cheek and stood, her dress rustling softly. Nathan watched her go, his heart full to bursting. Marcus stood too. "I should probably review my speech one more time." "Be right back," Nathan nodded, turning his attention back to his plate. But something nagged at him, a small voice in the back of his mind. He shook it off. This was his wedding day. There was no room for doubt or worry. 5 minutes passed, then 10. Nathan glanced toward the hallway where both Kim and Marcus had disappeared. Probably just a long line for the restroom, he told himself, or maybe Marcus was genuinely nervous about his speech. 15 minutes. Nathan stood up, excusing himself from the table. He walked toward the hallway, his footsteps echoing softly on the polished floor. The corridor was empty and quiet, a stark contrast to the celebration in the ballroom. He heard voices. They were coming from a small storage room at the end of the hall, the door slightly ajar. Nathan recognized them immediately. Kim and Marcus. "We can't keep doing this," Kim's voice said, tight with tension. Nathan froze. His hand reached out to push the door open, but something stopped him. He stood there, hidden by the shadows, listening. "I know," Marcus replied, his voice strained. "But Kim, I can't just turn off what I feel. I thought I could. I thought standing up there, watching you marry him, would make it easier. But it didn't. It made it worse." Nathan's world tilted. His breath came in short, sharp gasps. It's too late, Kim said, and there was something in her voice. Something that sounded like regret. I married him, Marcus. I married Nathan. But you don't love him the way you love me. Marcus's voice was barely above a whisper. I know you don't. I can see it in your eyes every time we're together. Silence. Nathan's hand found the wall, steadying himself. This couldn't be happening. Not today. Not ever. How long? Kim's voice broke. How long do we keep pretending? How long do I keep lying to him? I don't know, Marcus said, but I know I can't watch you be with him anymore. Every time he touches you, every time he looks at you like you're his entire world. It kills me, Kim. It actually kills me. You think this is easy for me? Kim's voice rose slightly. You think I don't hate myself every single day? Nathan is good. He's kind and loving and everything I should want, but when I'm with you. When you're with me, you're alive, Marcus finished. Another silence, longer this time. We should have never let it get this far. Kim said finally, that night 6 months ago. It should have been a mistake. One mistake, but we kept going back to each other. 6 months. The words hit Nathan like a physical blow. 6 months they had been carrying on behind his back. 6 months of lies and deception. 6 months of him planning a wedding, choosing flowers, writing vows, while his bride and his best friend die. Nathan's vision blurred. He couldn't hear anymore. He couldn't stand there and listen to his entire life crumble around him. He stumbled backward, his dress shoes clicking too loudly on the floor. He heard movement from the storage room. Heard Kim call out, "Did you hear something?" But Nathan was already moving, walking quickly back toward the ballroom. His mind raced, trying to make sense of what he'd just heard, trying to process the impossible truth. 6 months. His bride. His best friend. He burst into the bathroom, gripping the edge of the sink so hard his knuckles turned white. He stared at his reflection in the mirror, at the man in the tuxedo with the boutonniere and the wedding ring gleaming on his finger. Who was he? Who had he become that the two people he loved most in the world could betray him so completely? The door opened behind him. Nathan's eyes shifted in the mirror, meeting Marcus's gaze. Marcus went pale. Nathan, How long? Nathan's voice was barely recognizable, low and dangerous. Nathan, please, How long? Nathan spun around, his voice echoing off the tiled walls. Marcus flinched, his mouth opened and closed. No words coming out. 6 months. Nathan said, his voice breaking. I heard you. I heard everything. Marcus's face crumpled. God, Nathan, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You're sorry? Nathan laughed. A harsh, broken sound. You're my best friend. You stood up there with me today. You watched me marry her. You were supposed to give a toast. And all this time I never wanted to hurt you. Marcus said desperately, it just happened. We didn't plan it. You didn't plan to have an affair with my fiancée for 6 months. Nathan's voice rose with each word. You didn't plan to betray me every single day while I talked to you about wedding plans? While I asked you to be my best man? I tried to stop it, Marcus said, tears streaming down his face now. I tried so many times, but I love her, Nathan. I love her. The words were a knife to Nathan's chest. Get out. Nathan, get out, Nathan roared. Get out of my sight before I do something I'll regret. Marcus backed toward the door, his face a mask of anguish. I'm sorry. He whispered one more time, and then he was gone. Nathan sank to the floor, his back against the cold tile wall. The bathroom door opened again, and this time it was Kim. She saw him there, saw the devastation on his face, and she knew immediately. Nathan, she moved toward him, but he held up a hand. Don't, he said, don't come any closer. Kim stopped, her wedding dress pooling around her feet. You heard. It wasn't a question. 6 months, Nathan said, looking up at her. 6 months, Kim, while we were planning our wedding. While I was choosing vows, while I was falling more in love with you every single day. Tears rolled down Kim's cheeks, ruining her makeup. I never meant for this to happen. But it did happen, Nathan said. It happened, and you let it keep happening. You looked me in the eye every morning, every night, and you lied to me. I love you, Kim sobbed. I do love you, Nathan. Just not enough, Nathan said quietly. The fight drained out of him, leaving only exhaustion and heartbreak. Not enough to be faithful, not enough to tell me the truth. Please, Kim dropped to her knees, her dress spreading around her like a white ocean. Please, we can work through this. I'll end it with Marcus, I'll never see him again. We can get counseling, we can't. We can what? Nathan's voice was hollow. Pretend this never happened? Go back out there and cut the cake and have our first dance? Kiss for the photographer while you're thinking about him? Kim reached for him, but Nathan pulled away. He stood up slowly, straightening his jacket with shaking hands. I loved you, he said, his voice breaking on the past tense. I loved you more than I thought it was possible to love another person. I would have given you anything. Everything. I would have spent the rest of my life making you happy. You still can, Kim pleaded. Nathan, please, don't throw away everything we have because of her. Because of what? Nathan turned to face her fully. Because you had an affair with my best friend? Because you betrayed me with the one person in the world I trusted almost as much as I trusted you. Kim's sobs filled the small bathroom, echoing off the walls. Nathan walked to the door, then paused, his hand on the handle. I need you to do something for me. Kim looked up, hope flickering in her tear-stained eyes. I need you to tell them, Nathan said. Our families, our friends, everyone out there celebrating us. I need you to tell them the truth. Tell them why there won't be any more celebration today. Nathan, I can't. You can, Nathan said firmly. Because if you don't, I will. I'll make sure everyone knows exactly what happened, every detail. He opened the door and stepped out into the hallway, leaving his wife, his ex-wife, crying on the bathroom floor. The ballroom was still full of laughter and music when Nathan returned. He walked to the DJ booth and asked for the microphone. The music faded, conversations died down. Everyone turned to look at the groom, expecting a speech, a toast, a declaration of love. Nathan stood there, microphone in hand, looking out at the faces of everyone he cared about. His mother smiled at him encouragingly. His father raised his champagne glass. Thank you all for coming today. Nathan began, his voice steady despite the tears threatening to fall. It means everything to me that you're here to celebrate what was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. Confusion rippled through the crowd at his choice of words, was supposed to be. Unfortunately, Nathan continued, there's been a change of plans. The wedding is over, but the marriage. He paused, swallowing hard. The marriage won't be continuing. Gasps filled the room. His mother stood up, her hand over her mouth. Kim and Marcus. Nathan said their names like they tasted bitter. Have been having an affair for the past 6 months. I just found out about 30 minutes ago. The room erupted. People began talking all at once. Some standing, some crying out in shock. Nathan saw his father's face turn red with anger. He saw Kim's mother collapse into her chair. He set the microphone down on the nearest table and walked out of the ballroom. Out of the hotel, into the cool evening air. He stood on the sidewalk, still in his tuxedo, and finally let himself fall apart. 3 years of his life, 3 years of love and trust and planning for a future, gone in 30 minutes, destroyed by the two people he had trusted most in the world. Nathan's father found him there 20 minutes later, sitting on the curb, his head in his hands. Son, his father said gently, sitting down beside him. I should have known, Nathan said. There must have been signs. I must have been so stupid, so blind. Don't do that to yourself, his father said firmly. This isn't your fault. You trusted them because they were supposed to be trustworthy. You loved them because they were supposed to be worthy of that love. What do I do now? Nathan's voice was small, lost. His father put an arm around his shoulders. Now, you grave, you let yourself feel all of this pain and anger and betrayal. And then, eventually, you heal. You move forward, you find a way to trust again. I don't know if I can, Nathan whispered. You will, his father promised. It won't be today or tomorrow or even next month. But you will, because you're strong. Nathan, stronger than you know. They sat there together on the curb outside the Grand Harbor Hotel as the sun set over the water. Inside, the wedding reception dissolved into chaos and recriminations. But outside, in the quiet evening air, a father held his son while he mourned the death of his dreams. Nathan's phone buzzed in his pocket. A message from Kim. I'm so sorry. Please, can we talk? Nathan deleted it without responding. Another message, this time from Marcus. I know you'll never forgive me. But I need you to know that I never wanted to hurt you. You're my brother. Nathan blocked the number. He stood up slowly, brushing off his tuxedo pants. His father stood with him. Let's go home, Nathan said quietly. As they walked to the car, Nathan pulled off his wedding ring and held it in his palm. It was supposed to symbolize forever, eternal love, an unbreakable bond. Now it was just a circle of metal, empty, meaningless. He slipped it into his pocket and climbed into his father's car. The wedding day that was supposed to mark the beginning of his happily ever after had instead become the day his world ended. The day he learned that the people you love most can hurt you deepest. The day he married and lost his wife in the span of a few hours. Nathan looked back at the hotel one last time as they pulled away. Somewhere inside, Kim was probably still crying. Marcus was probably filled with guilt and regret. But Nathan felt something else entirely. He felt free. Free from lies, free from betrayal. Free from a marriage that was built on deception from the start. It would take time to heal, months, maybe years, but as his father drove through the city streets, Nathan made himself a promise. He would never let anyone make him feel this small again. He would never ignore his instincts or overlook red flags. He would never give his heart away without being absolutely certain it would be treasured. And someday, when the pain wasn't so raw and the wound wasn't so fresh, he would love again, but only when he was ready. Only when he found someone who deserved it. For now, he would grieve. For now, he would heal. For now, that was enough.